It's new for 2020.
This is the Mike DJ Kelly podcast. This is the Mike Kelly podcast.
Mike Kelly.
3, 2, 1, check, change, go, and we're off with another audio-packed adventure in the fun-filled, let's look on the bright side, shorter than short, Mike DJ Kelly podcast show. Let's head off sunset bound as we take a look at what's been going on in the news and on social media with our slightly grim northern twist to it. So here we are, punching above our weight, powered by Weatherspoons.
On this week's podcast.
Let's press on with a sunny, bright, yellow-coloured edition featuring competitions, radio, TV, social media, choirs, car aerials, class, Coronation Street, and a whole lot more.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly podcast.
Out there on the internet, social media, and in the papers, we have the following. From the Viz magazine, Toby from Swindon says, I'm sick and tired of ticking the I am not a robot box on internet sites. It should be changed to I am a robot so that only robots need to bother with it, saving us humans valuable time. Dennis Skinner on Twitter, Johnson needs a spokesperson. Have I got this right? He needs an advisor to tell him what to do, and now he needs someone to answer his questions. What is the point of having a Prime Minister? Steve Mangum on Twitter, replying to a tweet about Boris Johnson's search for a £100,000 a year spokesperson to become the face of the government on televised press conferences. Steve tweeted, can Kathy Burke do it, please? York's Lass says, many of us born in the 1940s were raised on stew and dumplings, roast beef, Yorkshire puds, fish and chips, sweet puddings, including school dinners. We didn't have lots of obese children and adults. Why? Nice to see that the large blonde thinks the nation should go on a diet, but at the same time as issuing bike repair vouchers, they're giving off 50% restaurant food vouchers for use on Monday, Tuesdays and Wednesdays in August.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
Have you seen the advert with a big wool dog putting on a record and sitting in front of the fan? Not sure it works, as it's advertising a car breakdown service. I was going to whinge and say how tasteless the new Tampax advert is with the TV chat show setting, but I think it's now been banned, so we'll drop that one. A lot of spokespeople on TV seem to be setting agendas, as in man from ABTA talking about Spanish holiday restrictions, not really answering the questions, but more than happy to say if you book an ABTA holiday rather than separate flights and accommodation, you can get your money back when things go wrong. All the health bodies now jumping on the government's health and lose weight agenda. Since the face mask wearing mandatory rule came in, I cannot get over the amount of shops where no staff are wearing masks. I also heard a doctor talking on the radio saying the plastic visor masks that many are wearing are not designed to be worn on their own. You need a face/mouth mask underneath them. The plastic visor is for doctors when treating patients and to stop any bodily fluids going in their eyes.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly podcast.
New peerages that are out, when you see the names of those receiving them, it makes a mockery of the system. It also makes those who are handing them out look a bit daft. It certainly lets you know for sure that there is a class system in operation. Okay, pod pickers. If you want to get in touch about anything to do with the Shorter Than Short podcast show, please use either of the following to contact us. Or if you want to send your own stories for the next episode, email cuttings or sound clips to hello@mikedjkelly.co.uk, on Twitter @MikeKellyDisco. If you came across a podcast by chance, you can get the Mike DJ Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast from all the usual podcast stores.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
Shall we move on to radio, which is getting depressingly worse by the day? Well, having said that, a couple of rays of sunshine. Alistair Stewart standing in for Julia Hartley-Brewer on Talk Radio. How refreshing and how entertaining. New app for Rombolds Radio, which is for the Skipton, Keighley and Ilkley areas. We wish Nick and Stuart all the best when they launch on the 10th of August. If a radio station launches on an app, it's not really local, as anybody anywhere can listen on the app. It's a bit like having the output on a website that anybody can go to, or listening through the Radio Player app. Some of the big commercial groups now moving over to the same output on every local radio station. On FM, on My Car Radio in the order it appears, it's TFM Radio, Radio Air, and then The Pulse all had the same presenters playing the same songs, just different jingles. And on BBC Leeds, last Monday evening at the 9 p.m. news, the nearest story was about Leicester.
This is the Short and Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
Watched a TV programme the other day which refers to the countryside code. Didn't tell you what it was. Made me wonder if anybody knows what the countryside code is these days. With all the kerfuffle between various countries and China, will this have any impact on Dyson products? As you will remember, he did close down his UK factory to make them in China. Maybe the current situation could lead to a U-turn and creating some jobs in the UK.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly podcast.
Not been to the pub yet. It does not sound to be what I want just yet. But the Sun's been to many and reports that they all seem to operate different safe drinking rules, and some that seem to have no rules. I have seen and read about pubs that are creating bubbles and screened off areas. It's just like the old days when pubs had lots of little rooms and snugs and table service. They'll be bringing back the prawn and cockle sellers next. And this week's do-gooders are the Friends of Dorothy, who support older LGBT people to combat social isolation and loneliness. Friends of Dorothy is a charity that champions social inclusion for older LGBT people by hosting regular activities and events. They are a welcoming, inclusive group that supports members to keep well, have fun, and stay connected. They are local, regional and nationally based. Just search for Friends of Dorothy to find out more. And by the way, the term Friends of Dorothy relates back to Judy Garland in her role as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz.
This is the Mike Kelly podcast.
On Twitter, the Rock Fairy. For anyone who's confused about the new lockdown measures that have been introduced in Greater Manchester, basically you can't see anyone inside unless there's a card reader present so you can spend money. Shaf Chowdhury. So to be clear, I can't visit my sister's house for Eid biryani, but I can meet her in the pub for a pint. The Horse from Working From Home tweeted Matt Hancock pinpointing the cause of spikes in Lancashire and West Yorkshire as people meeting in houses and definitely not in shops or pubs has set my dog off barking uncontrollably for some reason. John Jones on Twitter. This week Boris Johnson is lecturing the nation on dieting. In the next few weeks he'll move on to marriage guidance, childcare and hairstyling. Okay, competition time. Let's guess the hits that contain these lyrics. I don't know where my baby is, but I'll find him somewhere, somehow. I've got to let him know how much I care. I'll never give up looking for my baby. The lines again. I don't know where my baby is, but I'll find him somewhere, somehow. I've got to let him know how much I care. I'll never give up looking for my baby. Name the song or the artiste.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly podcast.
If you want to get in touch about anything to do with the Shorter Than Short podcast show, please use either of the following to contact us. It's email hello@mikedjkelly.co.uk, on Twitter @MikeKellyDisco. If you go to mikekelly.podbean.com, my tidied up back catalogue is available. Lots of people impressed with how the New Zealand Prime Minister is running things compared to how we are doing it in the UK. The numbers of people inquiring about emigrating to New Zealand from the UK has risen by a colossal amount. Sad news that the Book of Dreams is no longer to be printed. Is it true? If you eat your food standing up, you consume less calories?
This is the Mike Kelly podcast.
Do you think the recent wedding of Princess Beatrice Edoardo Mepelli Mozzi, who married on Friday 17th of July, will have kept within the 30 guest limits for lockdown, or was it behind a closed door class thing? My guess is they had more than 30 staff on hand.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
Is it just me, or does everyone think that Grant Shapps, when doing a TV interview from home, looks like he's got a sunbed or something shining on him? Nice story circulating about the travelling circus from Europe that got trapped by lockdown in Morecambe, and that locals have been feeding and looking after them during their unscheduled stop. The reward? They put on a free show for all the locals. Not such good news for Sheffield Cathedral Choir, who are being disbanded, regrouped as their social demographic mix does not work in 2020. When I was in the church choir a long time ago, they would have anyone, well, as long as you were male. So, guess the celebrity, born on the 2nd of August 1948 in Cardiff. He is a Welsh guitarist, songwriter, producer and vocalist. He was a founder member and lead singer of the 1960s British pop band Amen Corner, and in recent years has toured extensively with Roger Waters, Eric Clapton and Bill Wyman's Rhythm Kings. He's also well known for his wide-eyed and legless hit, Who Is He? If you want to get in touch about anything to do with the Shorter Than Short podcast show, please use either of the following to contact us. Email, we're at hello@mikedjkelly.co.uk. You can get the Mike DJ Kelly Shorter Than Short podcast from all your normal podcast download stores, or go to the mikedjkelly.podbean.com.
This is the Mike Kelly Podcast.
Talking of old things, as we were, pod pickers, haven't car aerials changed over the years? Many years ago, when you bought a car, it would often come without a radio. You'd have to buy one and fit it yourself. This often involved drilling a hole in the car wing and fitting a telescopic chrome aerial. Who would dare do that now? Drill a hole in the wing of a car? I had a female workmate some years ago who'd tell the tale of her dad taking her to a park and walking past a park bench, and he told her that was where she was conceived. Getting a lot of LinkedIn messages from people I don't know who have work anniversaries or have started new roles. Deeply tempted to delete my profile. Have you seen the Vanish floor cleaning powder advert? Does adding more stuff, powder, to your carpet actually make it cleaner?
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
Saw a Coronation Street special the other day where they were looking back at some of the great characters. It was nice to see Fred and Ashley Elliott and Stan and Hilda Ogden.
This is the Shorter Than Short podcast with Mike Kelly.
And the late news, new words for 2020, staycation, which means a holiday at home, and furlough, which sort of means a holiday. No late news on the world beating track and trace, which you might think would help end this pandemic. Why do they keep saying the new rules are mandatory? Is it just because it has the word Tory in there? Why don't they ban news programmes from showing people breaking social distancing rules unless that's what the item is about? A lot of hugging going on to celebrate Harrogate winning the footy as shown on the telly. Why don't TV programmes have long rolling starts and ends like they used to do with Columbo and Dallas, where all the cast, crew, sound technicians and film editors were mentioned? If you want to get in touch with this top-rated, much-listened to podcast, please contact email hello@mikedjkelly.co.uk or on Twitter @MikeKellyDisco. Indeed, if you want a podcast making for your business or need any help with radio producer or presentation work, please get in touch. You can always get the Mike DJ Kelly podcast show by going to iTunes or Spotify and searching Mike DJ Kelly. Quotes and cuts of this show may be used, but remember all material has to be got from somewhere and somebody has to put some effort into getting it all together. So please credit us.
This is the Shorter Than Short Mike Kelly podcast.
Okay, it's time to go. How was it for you? I know, it should be illegal to have this much fun. Guess the celebrity. Born on the 2nd of August 1948 in Cardiff, he is a Welsh guitarist, songwriter, producer and vocalist. He was a founder member and lead singer of the 1960s Amen Corner pop group, and in recent years has toured extensively with Roger Waters, Eric Clapton and Bill Wyman's Rhythm Kings. He's also known for his wide-eyed and legless hit. Who is he? Andy Fairweather Low. What song are these lines from? I don't know where my baby is, but I'll find him somewhere, somehow. I've got to let him know how much I care. I'll never give up looking for my baby. Name the song or the artiste? It was Lisa Stansfield, All Around the World. That's enough for this edition of the crazy Shorter Than Short Shabby podcast show. From me, Mike Kelly, thank you for listening. Please take care out there. And remember, you can always find the podcast by searching or shouting Mike DJ Kelly Podcast.
It's new for 2020.
This is the Mike DJ Kelly Podcast. This is the Mike Kelly Podcast.
Mike Kelly.